back to Let's Talk Physical Media. I am your host, John. This is the weekly show where we talk everything in the world of physical media and sometimes just regular old-fashioned film. And, it was going to be a very slow news week this week, but then right at the end, Arrow Video came in and announced their May 2025 releases. And, of course, the big ones being Jason Goes to Hell and Jason X are going to be coming to 4K Blu-ray. Now, we kind of knew this was coming. We just didn't know when. They had kind of put cards in some of their previous releases. People working on the scans had said that these are brand new scans and they're going to look really good because they had actually been previously released a couple years ago on Blu-ray. Right here, you got Jason Goes to Hell and Jason X. I don't know if these were new scans or not, but I know that that set did get some new scans in there. They were just, either downgraded to Blu-ray or whatever. But either way, or that was the complete set. That was how we were able to get all 8 Paramount releases of Friday the 13th, and then the other 4 being Jason Goes to Hell, Jason X, Freddy vs. Jason, and of course, we already got this on 4K Blu-ray last year from Arrow Video, Friday the 13th, 2009. This was the remake of the last Friday the 13th film still, which is crazy. It's been 16 years since we got a new Friday the 13th film. They've been stuck at 12 for so long, but they've been split up. The rights, it was a miracle that we actually got that Shout Factory set, that Scream Factory set with all 12 films because Paramount lost the rights. They went to New Line. It was a pretty big deal. Jason Goes to Hell. The big selling point was, hey, New Line's got the rights. New Line's got the rights. The same studio that has the rights to the Freddy Krueger franchise. Obviously, it's that New Line is the house that Freddy built. So all the possibilities were there. They end the movie off with that big tease of Freddy versus Jason. It took over 10 years, or just about 10 years, for that movie to finally get made. But people always shit on Jason X and Jason Goes to Hell. Me personally, I love those movies. So to see these come in a 4K Blu-ray really excites me. I can't wait for these to come out in May. Like I said, new scans. Both of these look like they're loaded up with new extras and all the previously released extras. Now, if I'm correct, there was a new Jason Goes to Hell documentary being worked on, and I don't believe that's going to be on this release, which it does kind of feel like a little bit of a missed opportunity, but I don't know how many fans of Jason Goes to Hell are out there, but I know that we are out there. We appreciate these cheesy, over-the-top movies like Jason Goes to Hell and Jason X. I mean, Jason's in space in Jason X. David Cronenberg even has a small cameo in that movie. It's just an absolute blast. Are they stupid as hell movies? Absolutely, but they are just so entertaining. So the only one we're missing from those of the other 4 New Line releases would be Freddy vs. Jason. And I don't know when that's going to be coming out, but I imagine that they'll be doing that release as well. Maybe they're saving that for Halloween. I don't know, but I hope that one's coming to 4K Blu-ray as well. I also really appreciate that they're using the similar box art design that they actually used right here on Friday the 13th, 2009, kind of keeping with that newspaper article, splitting them in half. Really love that. I like that uniform look, so these will all look really cool on your shelf. Of course, now a lot of people ask, it kind of does suck that, Paramount's been releasing them like every single year so far. We've gotten like Friday the 13th, Friday the 13th Part 2. A lot of people think that this will be the year we get Friday the 13th Part 3. Kind of sucks to see that slow trickling out process of the Friday the 13th franchise, where the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, we're going to be getting them all in a nice Steelbook collection at the very least sometime this year. I know people would probably like a nice big 4K Blu-ray box set of the entire Friday the 13th franchise. That Scream Factory release is the closest we'll probably ever get to that, so you're going to have to buy them all individually if you want to buy them on 4K Blu-ray, which does kind of suck. I know that a lot of people love those big box sets, but I'm just thrilled that we're going to be getting Jason Goes to Hell and Jason X on 4K Blu-ray. These are a pretty big deal to me. I know a lot of other people are really excited about that as well. And that's not all the Arrow Video announced. Obviously, we also already knew about a few dollars more coming out in May. A Fistful of Dollars is coming out in April for a few dollars more in May. And then, of course, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly in June to complete the Dollars trilogy on 4K Blu-ray. But then they had some other stuff in there as well. I Will Never Leave You Alone and Steppenwolf are going to be coming to Blu-ray. And then the Andromeda Strain is going to be coming to 4K Blu-ray. I have never seen the Andromeda Strain. That looks pretty cool. It looks like a 1980s sci-fi movie. I think it's based on a Michael Crichton novel. I'm not entirely too sure of that, but I think that's what I've heard. I'll have to check that one out eventually. Obviously, for me, there's 3 day-one purchases in there for Arrow Video in the month of May for a few dollars more, 100%. And then, of course, Jason Goes to Hell and Jason X. Are you guys as excited as I am about these 4K Blu-ray releases? Let me know in the comment section below. And then there was a couple other releases that have been announced. One that I know a lot of people are probably excited about is David Lynch's Eraserhead. This is the first film that he ever directed. It took him years to make this film. He started making it when he was in college, and he just got a little bit of money so he can keep making this movie. It stars Jack Nance, who would pop up in a lot of David Lynch films and TV shows. He's great on Twin Peaks as well. But, you know, he plays the Eraserhead with that crazy hair. This is not one of my personal favorite David Lynch films. It's a very important film. It's a film that I absolutely respect. So to hear this getting a 4K Blu-ray release, it's coming from Studio Canal and Art House, I believe it's pronounced. It's a German company, but I think it's actually supposed to be pronounced Art House, but it's pretty funny. It's spelled a little bit different. But apparently they're working on that new scan here in the United States. Here in the United States, Eraserhead has only come to Blu-ray from the Criterion Collection, but we have seen Studio Canal releases come over here in the United States, like The Third Man through Lionsgate Limited. And then there's actually been some Studio Canal transfers that have ended up in the Criterion Collection, so I imagine that transfer will eventually end up here in the United States in the Criterion Collection, and that'll probably be the next time I check out Eraserhead. I've watched it twice. Like I said, not necessarily in love with the film, but I appreciate that film. I respect that film. Without that film, we wouldn't get the incredible career that was David Lynch, and just so many great films that he directed, like Mulholland Drive, Lost Highway. And there are people out there who absolutely cherish Eraserhead, who I know are definitely excited to see this one coming to 4K Blu-ray as well. And speaking of Lionsgate Limited, what are they going to be releasing next? We just got You're Next and The Third Man on 4K Blu-ray. You'll see The Third Man 4K Blu-ray review later this week. Actually, it'll be on Tuesday. A little bit of a spoiler. Great 4K Blu-ray. Again, Studio Canal did that transfer, and they did a phenomenal job on it. And you can actually watch an extra on The Third Man 4K Blu-ray, how they painstakingly go through frame by frame, editing that, pulling everything off of the actual camera negative. It's incredible what they actually had to go through. It really makes you appreciate those 4K transfers even more. But Lionsgate Limited is being rumored to be releasing The King of New York on 4K Blu-ray. This movie stars Lawrence Fishburne and, of course, Christopher Walken in the lead role. This was, I think, Abel Ferrara's directorial debut. He's also known for directing movies like Bad Lieutenant, which, you know, I think that might be his best film, but I absolutely really love King of New York as well. King of New York is definitely his most famous film, so to hear that's coming to 4K Blu-ray, that absolutely excites me. That movie already had a 4K Blu-ray release through Arrow, so I have to imagine it will be the same scan. Now, I haven't actually checked out that Arrow Video 4K Blu-ray release. I've been on Diabolic DVD so many times, and I almost pulled the trigger on it, but I don't want to spend that extra money if it was going to get a United States 4K Blu-ray release. Now, it sounds like it's going to be coming from Lionsgate Limited, so I imagine that'll probably be about $39.99. I don't think it's going to be a $50 release, but that's still a little bit expensive, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be the exact same scan. So I've heard people complain about the Arrow Video King of New York scan. I'm not sure for myself, so I can't really comment on it. Either way, or I will probably be picking up King of New York on 4K Blu-ray just because Abel Ferrara, I really appreciate his work, and I have pretty much everything else that they have released over the last couple of years, coming from a bunch of different studios, like Bad Lieutenant from Kino Lorber, Addiction was from Arrow Video. I can't even remember. I have another one from Vinegar Syndrome. I'm drawing a blank on the title, but that only came to Blu-ray. I got that one last year as well. So all his work is kind of just like spread out, and I want to try and have it all in my collection because he's one of those auteurs. You always know it's an Abel Ferrara film, but you know he's not one of those directors that gets the same exact respect. Mainly because a lot of his movies are extremely dark. Like if you've seen Bad Lieutenant, I mean, there's not many darker movies than Bad Lieutenant. This guy has every vice you could ever imagine, and the movie itself is fantastic. I think it's Harvey Keitel's best performance. But we're talking about King of New York, and that is going to be getting a 4K Blu-ray release apparently from Lionsgate Limited, but no final word on that or anything yet. So that's something we'll probably be talking about and Eraserhead in the upcoming weeks. But either way, awesome to hear that stuff is coming to 4K Blu-ray. And just a quick note, it has been confirmed that Dante's Peak will be coming officially to 4K Blu-ray from Kino Lorber on May 21st. They also announced that they're going to be releasing Vice Squad on 4K Blu-ray in May as well. So always good to get some new movies on 4K Blu-ray. And Dante's Peak is one that I know a lot of people are really excited about. I don't know if I'll be grabbing that one on day one. Dante's Peak is not one of my favorite disaster movies, but I know a lot of people love that one, and they're really excited for that to be coming to 4K Blu-ray. So like I said, pretty slow news week. Unfortunately, this week we also lost some great actors. This week we lost Michelle Trachtenberg at age 39. I grew up with the movie Harriet the Spy, so that one kind of hurt me, especially around that age, like kind of around my age. You know, when things like that happen, it kind of just like wakes you up and makes you realize how short life really is. And it was an absolute tragedy to lose her this week. And then, of course, one of the greatest actors of all time, Gene Hackman, passed away at the age of 95. And it's just absolutely, it just makes you reflect on the man's work and everything that he gave to us. You know, the guy hasn't acted since Welcome to Mooseport, I think like 2002 or 2003. One of his last films was The Royal Tenenbaums. But this guy was a fixture through the 1960s, 1970s, and 1980s. He really blew up with Bonnie and Clyde in the 1960s, but then people noticed him in movies like Night Moves, The Conversation, and of course, Academy Award winning roles like in The French Connection, where he plays Popeye Doyle. And then, of course, Little Bill in Unforgiven earned him his second Academy Award. He's just one of those great actors. No matter what film he was in, he was always good. The movie might have not added up to his quality of work, but he always was at least professional enough to give a good performance, even if he didn't believe in the film. And a good example of that is kind of like how he was a curmudgeon on the Royal Tenenbaums, and he had absolutely no faith in the film Hoosiers, and those are arguably some of his best performances ever. So he's just one of those great actors, and just really sad to lose one of our great actors, even though now we look back and we can cherish his work. Sorry to end the show on a sad note, but I just thought we should recognize some of the great actors who passed away this week. And guys, that's going to do it here for me on another episode of Let's Talk Physical Media. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's show, and if you did, don't forget to hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, share this video if you could. And guys, we have channel membership, so if you want to become a friend of the channel, a producer for the channel like John Doe Juggalo, a channel director like Kevin Kruger and Uncle V, or even a bankroll member like Frank from Frank's Media Reviews and Mr. Smelly Potato. And don't forget that Frank has a great YouTube channel, and so does John Doe Juggalo. And if you guys do join that producers tier at $6.99, you have until Tuesday to sign up, and you'll be entered into our physical media giveaway that we do for our channel members each and every single month. And this month includes Constantine on 4K Steelbook that was donated from our channel director, Kevin Kruger. So if you guys want to get involved in that giveaway, you guys can look for all those perks in the description below. But don't feel any pressure. We just hope you guys enjoyed this video. So if you got no money to throw our way, we don't mind at all. Just get out in those streets, tell your friends about us, and then we'll be seeing you around.